Then. So my name is Jacob. I work for Microsoft. I work on the new Azure Portal. Have you guys checked it out? How many people? Okay, cool. Do you like it better than the old portal, or do you prefer the old one?
New one's better.
New one's better. What's your favorite feature?
I like all the snippets to be able to just kind of customize what I need to look at right away. So I don't have to dig through. So I'm using Azure the portal for a couple versions now. And it's like the new one, the one like everybody kind of got used to, I guess, was the one I kind of got most familiar with. And I noticed I had to find things. Deployments were a little easier, I think, in the old one, but it's come along.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you very much. So if you guys want to check it out, you can get a free trial and you get like $200 to spend for a month. So go ahead. I have a blog, jj09.net. I encourage you to check it out. You can find more information about me over there. And also on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Jacob Jędrzejczyk. Go ahead and follow me if you want to. I'm one of the organizers of onlineconference.net Conf.pl, together with Michał and Paweł, my friends. This is an event inspired by .NET Conf, organized by Javier Lozano and Scott Hanselman, and we invited some speakers from Poland, because I'm originally from Poland. And when I'm not biking, when I'm not coding, I'm biking. And this is me at Mount Evans. This is the top of the highest paved road in North America. It's 14,000 feet high, and the oxygen level at the top is 50% of what we have here. That's pretty nice. 28 miles hiking.
Why do you need a road if you're mountain biking?
Well, yeah. Finally, I bought the road bike because I'm preparing to do STP. Have you guys done STP? Nice. Did you do it in 2 days or 1 day?
Oh, 2 days.
2 days, okay. Yeah, I'll try 2 days first too. Okay, so we're in .NET meetup actually, and like you, I like C#. I really like C#. It's like my language. It's like the best language ever. And I was happily coding in C# for a few years, and then JavaScript happened. Web development becomes more and more popular, and JavaScript popularity was growing and growing. You can see it on GitHub repos. You can also see it on the number of job offers. And everything started 20 years ago with an Netscape browser, when this guy, Brandon Ake, was asked to create some language which will allow to do some dynamic operations on the website. And he had 2 weeks for that. He did it. And then, when after a few years, JavaScript was almost about to die, this happened. Internet Explorer version 6, which has Ajax. And this guy, Douglas Crockford, claims that Ajax is the thing that saves JavaScript from being replaced by some other language. And since then, he's encouraging people and trying to convince them that JavaScript is not that bad language, because this is, when you're switching from C# or from Java to JavaScript, you're like, oh my God, what the hell? C# is so much better, right? And he wrote this book, JavaScript, The Good Parts, which is sort of an overview of the differences between object-oriented language and JavaScript. And it's pretty easy read. It's, I think, about 200 pages. So in comparison to the JavaScript Bible, it's pretty convenient. I recommend it. I read it. It's pretty good. And then this started happening. So JavaScript frameworks start showing up one after the other. You go to bed tonight, you wake up tomorrow, and there's no JavaScript framework, and you actually don't know really what to use. And then our tools become more and more advanced, and also the browser become more and more advanced. And like recently, I discovered one cool feature that you can do with the browser. And I put up a simple website. This feature is in Google Chrome. There's Web Speech API that allows you to recognize voice on the browser. And okay, come on, Azure. Okay, let me do. Okay. What's wrong with the internet? Okay, so I put up the simple website where I use this web speech API. I hope this website will load, and I can show you how this works. Okay, almost. Yes. Okay, so here, this is just simple demo website. But if I click Start, you see the browser is asking me if browser can use my microphone. And I will say allow books. Favorites. Search JavaScript. Okay, sorry, I wasn't talking because if I were talking during that, then the voice will recognize run commands. But this is like example of what you can do, currently on the browser without any libraries. Actually, here I created by myself a small library called voiceCmdr that allows you to add the voice commands in a pretty convenient way. You can check it out on GitHub. And here you can add a star if you like it. So there's many ways how we can use our browsers. And because of that, our applications become more and more complex. Not only business applications. Here we can see that native apps are almost like browser apps now. There's no big difference actually between these experiences. We can also create games. Like 10 years ago, who would think that we can have 3D game in the browser? Now this is happening. That was actually from FluentConf 1 year ago, and this game was shot by Brennan Ake in this edition of FluentConf. And this graphic is just amazing. It's working in the browser. So when you create applications like that, the dynamic JavaScript language is not necessarily enough, and it's okay when we are working on some project by ourselves, but if we work in a big team, it becomes a problem. And to address all these issues, Microsoft came up with TypeScript. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript designed to build large-scale applications. And TypeScript was created by Anders Hejlsberg, the creator of C#. So now we are sure that we have pretty good language now, right? And he said that you can build large-scale applications in JavaScript, you just cannot maintain them. That's sort of true, because sometimes the code bases that were growing in JavaScript become read-only because everybody was so afraid to change it because you don't have any sort of feedback loop whether your change broke something or not. You can only check it sometimes only in production. So let me switch to some demos. I'll use JavaScript is multi-platform. TypeScript is multi-platform, so you can use it almost on every platform, on Windows, on Mac. And good point to start is the website typescriptlang.org. And here you have information how you can download and install TypeScript. It's in Visual Studio. You can use it with Sublime. You can use it with Visual Studio Code or with some other editors. So here I have Sublime with, actually, let me do it like that. Let me open my console. Are you guys using a third-party console? What are you using?
Commander.
Yeah, that's very nice thing, huh? So let me create a directory. Let me give one Sublime here. Close this one. Okay, so I will create a new file. I'll call it hello. And here I will create simple function hello. Takes two parameters, first name, last name, and return string hello, first name plus last name. And this is JavaScript. But what is cool about TypeScript is that TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. So that means that every JavaScript program is also valid TypeScript program. So I can actually compile this. I can do it from my console. I can do tsc emo1 hello ts. Now you can see that hello.js shows up. So let me open it side by side. Is the font okay for you? Yeah, okay, cool. So you can see that these two functions are almost the same. So now the main feature of TypeScript is a type system. So you can add typing, and thanks to typing, the tools we are using can help us with building applications. You can check for a type. So when I try to call this function here, let's say I do console log hello. Oops. And I can actually compile it with in Sublime because I have a TypeScript plugin. I do Control B and compiles, and still the same. But now here I can add types. So I want my first name to be of type string, and I want my last name also to be type of string. And when I compile it now, you can see that the JavaScript version didn't change because JavaScript doesn't know anything about the types. But TypeScript does. So how it helps, when here I'm calling this function hello, when I will try to call it with some number, then I get red squigglies here. And if I try to compile this, I got a compilation error that argument of type number is not assignable to pointer of type string. And this helps a lot when we have a big app, when some developer is working on one part of the system, the others are using his API, for example, and then when API is changing, then he can be notified about that. We can also specify the return type. So if I say string here, and I create variable result, I'll call this function here. Let me correct this, valid again, and here I will do result, compile this, and everything is fine. But now, when I, for example, try to add type here, and let's say I want a number. And again, TypeScript is telling me that I'm wrong, that I have a mismatch between types.
Shouldn't it be showing on the right side?
Sorry, what?
The squiggly lines should show that hello is gone, not that the result is wrong.
Well, now you can argue which one is wrong, or your definition, right?
Assigning wrong value, right?
Yeah, I mean, because you are trying to assign string to number, right?
I understand. At least in C# it's still hello.
Well, then again, you can argue, right? Because hello could change, right? So I changed from number to string, right? And then, the developer who is using my hello function see, oh, something is wrong, right? I need to change it.
Does it work for function return values too? You can declare a type.
What do you mean?
Now let's say function hello column number.
Yes. So if I say number here, right, then I get red squiggles here that I cannot return string from here. Okay, so this is functions. But another cool thing is that in TypeScript, you can declare classes in a similar way like in C# and Java. So here, I'll declare class person with first name, type string, and last name, also type string. And let's say now, I don't want first name and last name, I want person as a parameter to this function. And here I will just print my person, P. And now, again, I'm getting feedback, wrong parameters. So here I need to create person object. And I need to assign first name and last name. And here I will provide P. Now all red squigglies are gone. I compile and works. And now we can see that the code on the right-hand side is actually different because JavaScript classes looks a little bit differently. Actually, there's 4 different ways to do classes in JavaScript. And you'll see it later once I will add more features. So let's say I want to move this function into my class because actually I don't need it to be outside. I don't need the word function anymore, so I'll just remove it. And here I need to change, I don't need this parameter because it's printing itself. So, and I will change this to this, and this to this. And here I will do p.hello. Okay, and I run it. I have Node.js hooked up, and you can see that it's displaying my first and last name. So this is nice, but then it would be so nice if I can have some sort of constructor like in C#, right? So let me add one. To add constructor, use keyword constructor. It's a little bit different than C# Java, but this is ECMAScript 6, next version of JavaScript specification, which TypeScript is valid with. So let me add fname, string, name, string. And I'll assign this using this, fname, this. And you see, I have this TypeScript plugin, and here I have this IntelliSense, right? This is something that with JavaScript will be harder to do because TypeScript can infer types, and they know what I can really use here. So I have last name, oops, let me this. And now you see another red squigglies. I cannot use the default constructor anymore. I need to add a first name and last name here. And then I don't need these 2 lines. And I can compile this, run it, and still works. So this is
what plugins and stuff you're running in Sublime, so you have the
yeah, sure. So if I do Control-Shift-P remove, then you can see what I have, and this is the plugin I have, TypeScript, the first one, Better TypeScript. Actually, I'm not really sure what it does, but the TypeScript one is giving me all this IntelliSense.
and is that also what's allowing you to run it
To run it, I created a task, here in Sublime, you have build systems. You can create new build system, and here I just specify the command that is run, invoking the TypeScript compiler.
Is there any specific advantage to Visual Studio now supports TypeScript?
Yes, sure. Yeah, I could use Visual Studio as well.
I mean, comparatively, it's more or less the same.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Visual Studio gives you maybe even better experience because, for example, especially if you use ReSharper, if I have many files, right, and I am on, I'm calling method and I click F12, then in Visual Studio it will take me to the specific file where this method is defined, like in C#. And all of this because of the typing system in TypeScript.
It's not a school, right? It's not a
Well,
fleet.
Well, you can argue about that. Some people prefer Visual Studio, some people prefer Sublime. In our team, in Azure Portal, I would say it's 50-50 maybe. Maybe even more people use Visual Studio.
Anybody using Visual Studio Code?
Yes, I think Andrew, my team lead, who is sitting here, he is using Visual Studio Code. And I don't know how it works, but
Does he work? I haven't fully switched over to it yet. I'm just actually playing with but there's some things I really like about it. So far, I've found that because it's not really a CS private file, that certain trying to just get control comment or the file takes a little longer to actually search for file system. But I think you probably have that in other editors that are using the CS files. I like it though.
Does it actually generate the compiled code, or is just for verification the compilation step?
oh, so this compilation is compiling from TypeScript to JavaScript. So this is just this what you see on the right side. This is compiled code, which you can run in the browser. And
Well, we used something like 10 years ago when I worked in the Office Live, which is now Office 365. We used this kind of thing, and I don't know why it didn't become more public, more quicker than that. Because this has been around for a while. Maybe in a different form, but
yeah, sure. Yeah, because actually, the cool thing about this is that when the next version of TypeScript is released, we can we can upgrade next day. We don't have to wait because TypeScript is compiling down to ECMAScript 3 or ECMAScript 5, which is JavaScript versions. Now most of browsers supports ECMAScript 5, and you don't have to wait. Right? When new version of .NET Framework is released, right? Sometimes you need to wait for a year or longer, right? Because we have all servers, we need to do these updates, all of that. Here you don't have this problem at all, because all of what the execution environment cares about is JavaScript. Okay, so let me go on. Let me add inheritance here. So I'll create now class developer, and I will use word extends, the keyword we use for inheritance. I'll extend person class. I will add one more property. What about salary? We all like money, huh? And I will add a constructor here as well. And here, in addition to first name of type string and last name type string, I'll add salary of type number. And here I will call the base class constructor with keyword super, first name, last name, and I will assign my salary. And now, when I want to create new developer instead of person, again, I'm getting rid squigglies because I didn't support parameter. So add one with a lot of zeros. And so this is simple inheritance. Let me compile this. And you can see that now JavaScript code blew up. So this is the code you need in JavaScript to create this simple inheritance. Of course, as I said, there's 4 different ways to do inheritance in JavaScript. This is one way, but this is an example what you can have. And you don't have type checking like in TypeScript, and it's getting harder and harder, and even more when you're building big apps. So here I can override methods. So let's say I want to override hello method. And I'm going to return. And I can call my base method using, again, word super, hello. And I can add printing my big salary. Okay, let me like that. Colon here. All right, and now I compile this and then run it. Oops. Yeah, you can see that in addition to my name, there is also my salary display. So classes, inheritance, this is cool. But we also can have interfaces. So let me define simple interface. I'll call it printable. And similar way like in C#, I want a method print. And now when in class person, when I say implements printable, I get direct squigglies again because I don't have print method. So I'll add it, print. And let's say I will just console log this.hello. Save. And here, instead of doing this, I'll just do print. I'll compile this, and I'll run this. So here you have like full-blown object-oriented language, but you can still use functional language if you want to, because as I said, every JavaScript code is a valid TypeScript code. So let me switch really quick to slides. Okay. Yeah, so as I mentioned, and if you look at this slide, when you compare the TypeScript code, JavaScript code, and C# code, you can see more similarities between TypeScript and C# than TypeScript in JavaScript, actually. Okay, so now...
I think I saw something on that slide that I was wondering.
Which one? Where?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't add that. So in TypeScript, you can also have accessors. By default, everything is public. You can specify private, and from version 1.4, I believe, you can use protected as well. And again, it's only in TypeScript in compilation. After that, you don't have these types. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so now I would like to show you a few tools that you can use not only working with TypeScript, but in everyday web development. How many web developers are here? Okay, like half of the room. It's cool. So who heard about NPM? Okay, that's good. That's good. So for those who haven't, NPM is a node package manager, which allows you to download packages like NuGet for C#. There's NPM for JavaScript. So let me here create demo2 directory. And here in, okay, and here send to demo2. And here I will do npm init. Now I'll initialize my application and it will create me the config file. I'll just leave all default options. Okay, and now, okay, let me close this window. I can see here I have my default package.json file where I can later on store all packages I want to install. So during working in TypeScript, it is very useful to use a tool tslint. Tslint is a tool inspired again by JavaScript tool JSLint that parse your code and check whether you're following some sort of recommended conventions. JSLint is created by Douglas Crockford, and it's linting your code, and for example, doesn't allow you to skip semicolons, because semicolons in JavaScript are optional. And I don't know if you guys know, but in JavaScript, if you do return, say, name something, this code is different than this. But both are valid JavaScript code, because in this case, you'll return this object with property name, whatever I type. But in this case, the JavaScript semicolon insertion will work, and this will work only like that, and you return undefined. So using the linter allows you to enforce developers to don't use things like that. So now let me install tslint with npm. So I'll do npm install tslint, and I will do -- save dev. And this will save my first dependency tslint to my package.json file. Now if you go back, you can see I have my first dependency tslint. And now let me add some directories to mine. Let me add app. I will also add source, where I will have my source TypeScript code, and also dist, where I will output my JavaScripts. And in source, I will create a new file called developer, and I'll just grab my class I just created here, say with inheritance. I'll get rid of interface because I don't really need this. maybe I will change hello to get full name, because I will need it later on. And instead of returning hello, I'll just return first name, last name. And what I would like to do here is I would like to check this file with a tslint. So what I can do is I can run tslint from here and say app source developer. Sorry, I need to add f file. And you can see I have some error. I have trailing white space in line 7. Okay, so I remove it now.
Is it a claim?
Well, it's not. You can specify it. I will show.
What's the
briefly.
issue? Why it's even an issue?
I mean,
It's not an issue, but it is.
it's not an issue, but it's not good.
I understand with the semicolon, yes, it's no.
Okay,
It's
Waste network bandwidth.
but you know the thing is, like, you know, if you have like trialing web space, then white space, then you have, for example, issue with version control, right? When somebody check this in, right? Then somebody do this, check this in, and you see change. So this is one example where you don't want this. But you know, if I remove semicolon, the same way, I do tslint, and this is default option. You can customize your options, and you can, by creating .tslint rc file. So here I have my tslint rc, and I have, so this is how a configuration file can look like. So here I'm saying enforce semicolon. Here I'm saying that I want quote marks. I don't want single quote mark. I want double. No trailing web space, right? So if I do false here, then tslint will not check for that. And you know, so this is cool. I can lint my file, then I can compile it, and I'm more confident that I have good code base. But what would be better if I can automate this process? And I can automate this process using a tool called gulp, and I'll also install it with npm install gulp save dev. Have you guys heard about gulp? Okay, only 3 people or 4. Yes, gulp is a sort of successor of Grunt. So Grunt and gulp are task runners, where you can specify tasks you want to perform, and they will do it automatically. So I have gulp now, and I need to create a config file called gulpfile.js. And here is how simple gulp file can look like. So here I have task tslint that will do linting. And I have another task, compile ts, which will do compilation. And here, I will look in directory app source for files.ts. I'll also look at the typings files, which I will mention about later on. And then I will do compilation, and I will output these files to app/dist directory. And I have also task watch. So this task will be watching for changes on files on this directory. And if change occurs, we'll do linting and compilation. And I have also default task. Default task is what task will be run if you just issue the command gulp, and it will do tslint, compile ts, and then watch. So let me try that on the gulp. Oh, okay, I forgot to install. So because here at the top, I am using 2 gulp plugins, gulp TypeScript and gulp tslint. So first I need to install them. So npm install gulp TypeScript and gulp tslint. And also the save dev. And npm, of course, is downloading these files from remote repo. Okay. And now you can see in the package.json, but now I have gulp, tsln, gulp TypeScript, all my dependencies. And now if I would remove my node modules directory where I have all my modules, and I go back to my command line, I can just do npm install, and it will pull all my dependencies specified in package.json file again. And here you can see they are back. Okay, so I have this dependency. So now the gulp, oh, still installing. Come on. Oh, okay, here we go. And now let me run the gulp task. Now we can see I have error in developer.ts, missing semicolon. And actually, let me put it side by side with my Sublime. So now I will open developer and I will fix this issue. I'll hit save. And now gulp automatically lint again and recompile all my files. And when I do every change, gulp is doing this automatically, so I don't need to use command line to do the linting, compiling for every single file. I can do it with gulp automatically. All right. So yes.
If I install TypeScript via NuGet, with a NuGet package, we get all these tools too. Like Visual Studio NuGet package.
Actually, you can use gulp from Visual Studio. There is a plugin that integrates it, and I heard that next version of Visual Studio has the gulp plugin built in. I'm not sure how looks the story from a NuGet package manager perspective. I'm not sure if you can install a TypeScript from there, but you can definitely. Oh, you can. Oh, okay, cool.
Like on the main page it says that we can install TypeScript. But so you wouldn't recommend right now to install TypeScript to NuGet then?
I mean, go ahead, you can do that. This is just one way how you can do that, and I think most of people are using this.
No, don't do it because Microsoft's changing their stance. NuGet is for .NET. They're moving to Bower, JavaScript components, and then you're using it for the web, obviously, and then you use NPM to get that stuff, use gulp.
Yep.
Haskell. You can use front too.
Yeah, I mean,
don't use it for JavaScript anymore. That's
NuGet is like more for .NET. Yeah, NuGet is more from .NET libraries. If you want to use JavaScript, you better use NPM, and you can use gulp. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So next thing I would like to do, let me add some frontend to my app. So I'll create new file. I'll call it index.html. And I'll do index2, I believe. Yeah. So this is my front end. This is just a simple website with a small form, which will allow me to add developers and display them. And here I will need to install jQuery and Bootstrap. And I can do it, as you mentioned, using Bower, because Bower is a package manager for front-end libraries, such as jQuery or Angular. Oops, what was that? Was it from my machine? Hope not. So I'll install Bower with npm. Let me stop gulp for now. I'll do npm install Bower, save dev. You don't really need to install it to every app. You can install it globally also if you use -g flag. I have it installed globally, but just to show you that you can do it from npm as well. Come on, internet seems to be slow here. Okay, here we go. And now I can do Bower init, and it will ask me a similar questions like npm. No. Okay, I'll just leave default options because it doesn't really matter for now. Okay, now I have Bower init file, and I will do Bower install jQuery, save dev. Now Bower is pulling jQuery, And now I'll do bower install strap, and again save dev. And now if I switch back here, you can see there's bower.json file where I have all my bower packages, and you can see the dependencies here, jQuery and Bootstrap. If I do just save, it will save it as just dependencies. So this is two options you can use. So now when I have jQuery and Bootstrap, I can try to run my website, see if this will work. So let's open it. And here you can see I have a simple front end with ASCII arts. I have only one console error because I didn't create my app.js file yet. I will do it now. So let me switch back to my app. And here in my app source, I'll create a new file, app.ts, which will compile to app.js that I'm referencing from index.html. And here, if I look at my index, I have, this three input fields: first name, last name, salary, and add. And I will use jQuery to this is mine? I hope not. I don't think so. Okay, so I will use jQuery to hook up the click event to my add button and to get the values from the fields. So I'll do this, add.click on the function. Here I'll do my function handler. And here I will create new dev equals new developer, you already have seen. And I will do, again, jQuery, first name, .val, because I want a value from this field. Then last name, .val. And finally, salary, .val. Okay, and you can see that here, I have red squigglies under developer, because Sublime doesn't know anything about my developer file, which is actually sitting next to this file. So I need to reference this file using reference path developer.ts. And now I'll save this, and you can see the red squigglies are gone. But now I have another issue, that jQuery is unknown to Sublime again. And another problem is that jQuery is a JavaScript library. So actually, I can not know anything about types there, right? So I can sort of cheat here, and I can do declare var $, and now red squigglies are gone. Because I said, hey, I have this variable $, somewhere, and just don't type check me any calls to this variable. But then again, I am losing type checking. So what I will do, I will go to this open source project called Definitely Typed. Okay, do you have a problem? Okay. Everything's good for me. I don't know. So let's go ahead. So Definitely Typed is a set of TypeScript typing files. Typing file is a file that you can create for your JavaScript library, specifying its interface. So here I want to pull up the jQuery file. You can see there's a tons of different typing files for libraries. Oops. 0 jQuery. Tons of plugins, jQuery plugins. And here I go to jQuery, and there's jQuery.d.ts. This is typing file for jQuery. If I open it, and if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see that here there's the same trick, declare var $, but this type $, is of type jQuery static. And jQuery static is used, oops, jQuery static is used across this file. Here's this interface defined. And you can see there is function Ajax, Ajax settings, get, and all bunch of jQuery functions. So I could just copy this file, paste it to my project, and it will work. But the better thing is if I can, again, automate it. And there is a tool called TSD, which stands for TypeScript Definition File Manager. And I can install it with npm too. So I'll do npm install TSD. I'll do next, because the last beta version has nice API. I'll do save dev as well.
How up to date are these definition files?
Sorry?
How up to date are these definition files with regard to packages they represent?
Well, it depends, but
Updated with jQuery.
it's hard to tell, but you can see at this GitHub repo, if you go to the, oops. Yeah, if you go to the, here, you can see that there's 10,000 commits. And you can see that the files are updated pretty often, actually. And actually, TSD is pulling this definition files from this actually repo. Sometimes they, of course, can be behind, but usually it works. So if you encounter some issue, then you get red squiggles, you can double check, but I've never had these issues.
Do they tag their commit history so that you pull the version of the definition file that matches the version of jQuery you have installed? Or just the latest, whatever is on there?
I mean, I believe by default it's downloading the latest version, but actually, let's check. So TSD. Sorry?
Read your Bower versions and use the same version that you have for Bower.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't sort of work together with Bower, as far as I know. But yeah, you can install specific version with Bower, specific version maybe with this. Yeah, here you can specify the version you want. Or no, this is yeah, here. This is the install. Resolve, include reference, filter on version, postfix, and you can specify here version. Yeah, so you can sort of match. You cannot match it really automatically, but by read, as far as I know. Maybe maybe you can contribute to this tool and do this feature. That will be pretty cool. But this tool is pretty new. You see that now there is a version 0.6 beta, so this is pretty new thing. Okay, so let me do TSD init. This works again, similar to my previous package managers. It creates tsd.json file, and here I can specify the path I want to put my typings in. And I'll put it in app/typings. Also change this. I won't use this for now. I'll just change it. I'll remove this one. And now when I do tsd install jQuery, oops, I forgot save. Now it will be saved to my tsd.json file. Now I'll go back here, and you can see I have jQuery.ts, and I have a commit hash from which this version of package was pulled. And here I have my typings directory, and here there is jQuery and jQuery DTS. This is the same file. So I can do this with all other libraries I am using. So and now I go back to my app. I can reference this path equals typings jQuery, I believe jQuery DTS. Okay, and now the rest squigglies should go away. Come on, Sublime. Yeah, here we go. Took a while, but now I can use jQuery, and now if I do $, I also have IntelliSense here. So this is how you can sort of add types to existing JavaScript libraries. So now let me speed up a little bit. So I won't maybe type this entirely. I will just do I had a snippet for that, I'm sure. App TS. Yeah. So this is the entire code of my app. This is a pretty simple app. I'm just adding to this developers to array of developers. And here you can see I can specify the type of my array. I want this to be developers in this array. And here I have update UI function, which is updating my UI every time is just emptying the node and then appending the list. And in my items, I'm using get full name method. So let me save this and let me open gulp again. And gulp. See, okay, looks like everything is fine. So let me go back to the browser. Let me refresh this and I'll add myself with big salary again. And you can see my name is here. I can add more names. Oops. And this. And I have simple, very simple app. But what I really wanted to show you, I wanted to show you the tooling I used. So I used npm, I used Bower, I use gulp, and I use TSD. I use also TSLint to link my files. And I also use the TypeScript compiler, of course, to compile my files. And this is maybe not as useful in this project, but it's very, very useful when you have big project like Azure Portal, for example. So let me go back to slides. So now a few words about ECMAScript 6. How many of you have heard about ECMAScript 6? Oh, almost everybody. So you already know this is the next version of JavaScript. And TypeScript actually is based on this version. So the TypeScript syntax is based and compatible with ECMAScript 6 syntax. And with each next version, TypeScript implements more and more features. And you can check on website, you Google for ES6 compat table. There's a website where you can check what ECMAScript 6 features are implemented in what browsers. You can see that not like the latest version of Chrome is only 48%, Firefox almost 70%. It's pretty good, right? But when somebody uses at least IE10, it's only 4%. IE11 is 15%, right? So here we have this big issue. Actually, I've seen one presentation when the one guy was talking about JavaScript and all the issues with JavaScript, and he said, yeah, there's this issue, this, and that. But don't worry, because all of these issues will be solved by ECMAScript 6 in 5 years. Because this is how much time we will need, to get rid of the old browsers and to have the browser that implements this. And here, you have compilers and polyfills. And here is TypeScript. Sorry? Oh, Edge, is it here? Oh, yes, 72%. Pretty good, right? Right, but again, only... Yeah, I think ECMAScript 6 is not yet done. It's not yet final. They are still working on it, right? But again, using this compiler, such as TypeScript, you can use some features. And you can actually look here on the left-hand side. You can see, for example, class. And you can see that TypeScript implements 14 of 23 features. And then you have a list of different features of classes you can possibly have. And if you hover over here, you can see what this feature is about. So for example, anonymous class, right? What it will be. Okay, I'll have something like that. And as we can see here, TypeScript, where's TypeScript? Here, they are not, it's not yet implemented there. But there's class expression and there's some other stuff. But next to TypeScript, there are other transpilers, and the most popular are Tracer and Bubble. And TypeScript allows you to compile to ECMAScript 6. They have some features, like recently they introduced let keyword that allows you to have block scope, because in JavaScript you have function scope, which is very inconvenient for people coming from C# or Java who are used to block scope. And let me show you one example I have here. Let me close this. Here I think TS talk. Yes, demo 3. No, Sublime. So here I have a small project, and this is a TypeScript file. I have types, and here I have a let keyword. So I can define the a variable here, I can define it here and here with different types, and everything will be fine. But in TypeScript 1.4, I had to compile it to ECMAScript 6. From next version 1.5, they will be able to transpile it directly to ECMAScript 5. But when then some new features will come that TypeScript will compile only targeting ECMAScript 6, you can use this transpiler as tracer and bubble to later on compile from ECMAScript 6 to ECMAScript 5 or 3. And here I created my gulp file, and I have a compile TS task, the same like there, but I am targeting ECMAScript 6 here to be able to use let keyword. And I have also tracer and bubble, which are just taking my JavaScript files and transpiling them to ECMAScript 6. So let me run my gulp. Boom. Okay, everything works. And here, if I open this is ECMAScript 6. So this will not work in the browsers. And even if I run it with Node, I'm getting an error, unexpected identifier, because Node doesn't know anything about let. But I also compile it to ECMAScript 5 with bubble and tracer. So if I open it here, you can see that here some magic happened, and I have underscore A2. I have 3 different variables because this transpilation happened. And here I can run it, and it works. And it works in other browsers. So you don't need to worry about it from TypeScript 1.5 because it compiles to ECMAScript 5 directly. But it's an option. And you can also, if you look here, this is ECMAScript 6.5. It's very similar to TypeScript. Actually, looks like we just get rid of types here. And we would have TypeScript if we add types. Okay. So you can start using TypeScript, you can start using ECMAScript 6 today, and with these transpilers, everything works in current browsers and also in the oldest browsers. If you use ECMAScript 3 standard, which is also possible, you can even use i6, I believe, or 7 or 8. AngularJS. How many of you had used or heard about Angular? Oh, wow. Okay, almost everybody. So that's cool. So yeah, as we know, recently Angular became the most popular JavaScript library out of everyone. And the next version is coming. So I would like to show you how you can use TypeScript with AngularJS, because by the end of last year, Google started doing their own language called AdScript, which was built in top of TypeScript. They were adding annotations to TypeScript. And now they abandoned it, and they merged their project with TypeScript. And I believe it was last month when they released the news that Microsoft and Google is working together to make AngularJS the better framework. It was very surprising for everybody. So let me show you a quick demo here. So, code ready here. 4. Okay. Actually, let me do it differently. Let me switch back to my NDA, I believe. My directory demo 4. It's in here. And if you Google for Angular 2 Microsoft demo, you should find on GitHub, there's demo app, which I will just simply clone, copy this. I will do git clone. Because Angular 2 is not yet released. It will be released maybe later this year or maybe even next year. So for now, there is early alpha version. So let me open this. So here I have this demo. And here there is a simple to-do app. And in order to compile it, I need to use the latest, actually the beta version of TypeScript 1.5. So I have it installed already. So if I do tsc 1.5, actually I should switch to this directory, tsc 1.5, should compile it. And now if I do HTTP server, it will run a local server. And now if I go to browser and do localhost 8080, I have a demo to-do app. I don't know if you have heard about the project to-do MVC. It's a GitHub project, is set of, I believe, 50 different frameworks that implements the to-do app, which can show you how to use some framework, how you can do adding stuff, how you can edit it, how you can delete it. And this is the simple app. I can add task, leave a talk. Oh, actually, there is also a feature here because here I have some items pop up that I didn't really fill out. That's because this is actually using API through Firebase engine. And if you go here, I believe, you can see that here is this API I'm calling inside Angular 2. So maybe because this app is not that simple, so I would like to show you something easier. I'll just remove this to do. I'll remove this because I don't need this anymore. So remove to do HTML. I'll go to index. So this is my index file. And here you can see that I have tag to do app. Because Angular 2 is based on the vision of web components that allows developers to create their own components. And this is how Angular 2 will work. So let's say I want to create a developers app. Create it here. I'll import it. I'll create a new file, developers.ts. Developers.ts. And in this file, I will add a simple app. So what do we have here? Here I am importing Angular. The next version of TypeScript is using the ECMAScript 6 importing. I don't need use require.js anymore. I have also declaration of my component. I'm calling it developers app. I have also a declaration of my view. It will be in developers.html. And I have a simple class where I have array of developers. By default, I am initiating it empty. Then I am adding developers like I did in the past. So let me create my view really quick. It will be called developers.html. And I have snippet for that. And this is how Angular 2 will look like. It's a little bit or much different than Angular 1.3 we have now. We'll have 1.4 as well. But then it looks a little bit more developer friendly. I don't know what's your opinion about that. We still have the same style of getting values. And so now let me save this. And let me also create my developer.ts class because I need this. And let me actually grab it from my previous demo. So I'll just copy and paste this. And okay, let me stop the server. And in TypeScript, there is also a cool thing called watch. That TypeScript can watch for changes in your TypeScript files like gulp, but it doesn't give you the flexibility to output there in some other places, just in place. But it's still useful to use. To do.ts not found. Okay, probably. Let me save this. Okay, I have also tsconfig file, which is also the new thing in TypeScript. Here I need to add files I want to compile. So I add developer.ts, developer, and developers.ts. Now I invoke TypeScript. We'll compile. Developer is not an external module. Oh, okay, that's right, because I didn't export these classes, so they will be export, because they will be private by default, so I need to export them in order to allow other to see it. My average squiggle is here. I have no idea. Let's try and compile this again. Okay, now everything worked. You're on HTTP server. And now I will refresh my app. And here I have, again, the UI is a little bit different, but the same thing I had created previously. And adding people here, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. A similar experience, but now using framework, Angular 2. And I think it's pretty straightforward, less code than me. I didn't have to write my JavaScript code, the jQuery. Everything is handled by Angular. As I said, Angular 2 is still in beta. It might change. And actually, what is interesting, there's a guy, Rob Eisenberg. He created Durandal framework. This is another SPA framework. And he was in Angular 2 team until November last year, when he decided that actually Angular 2 is not going in the way he wanted, and he started creating Aurelia framework. And in March, he published 2 blog posts when he's comparing Angular 2 and Aurelia, and Aurelia really looks better, so much cleaner, less code. And the people started commenting here, it cannot be true. Yes?
I remember there was an issue that when they announced Angular 2 that it could not be backward compatible. Is it about this? Or is it different?
Yes, sure. I mean, the issue with Angular is that when they change the minor version, so if you switch from 1.2 to 1.3, you are breaking changes between these 2 versions. So, there's no surprise that 2.0 will be.
They said at the time that it will become different.
Yes, because
He was unhappy about this, or it is about TypeScript.
No. He wasn't happy that he wanted Angular 2 looks like that, right? But like on the right hand side, right? So you have only 8 lines of code, and here you have 20, right? So he wanted this to be super clean framework, and he just didn't like the direction they are ultimately going to. And he started creating this Aurelia framework, and yeah, we'll see what will happen. He's building this framework with ECMAScript 7, the next version, and he's using transpilers. I believe he's using Bubble to transpile this code.
Wait, but Microsoft is working with Google on this.
Yes, on Angular. Aurelia is Rob Eisenberg.
Now it's total mess. What should we do?
In JavaScript world, there is a total mess.
Write your own.
Yes, you can always fork. Yeah, we never know. There is Knockout, there is Durandal, there is Ember, there is Backbone, there is Angular, there is all that stuff.
Angular looks like a winner until 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, what is the design pattern that they're shooting for? It seems like, or with Angular 2, it seems like Angular 1, they had a sense of like model view controllers.
Yes.
And the way that they're putting things together here with components and sequences, like in this file, this app.js file, like, are they still, is that still the goal, or are they just kind of going a different route?
I mean, now they have this route involving web components in there, as I see in my demo, and actually it will be very similar because here you also have sort of if you look at this app I created, here this is sort of controller, right? You have also a sort of view here. You just don't have all other stuff like services, directives. You can create it more cleaner, in the next version, I believe. And actually, what they want is, just better framework, because the initial idea was that they wanted to merge Angular with Durandal, created by Rob Eisenberg, and they wanted to do that, but then it turns out that they have all slightly different visions, and they split their ways.
Do you know which Google products use Angular?
Which Google products?
Yeah. I've heard none.
Seriously.
So I'm just wondering if that's true.
I mean, I don't know. Actually, I've never checked that. I just know that everybody, like, if I have friends working with web, they're using Angular.
Yeah, I know like Netflix or LinkedIn, they both use Angular.
Yeah.
What's the adoption?
I have no idea. I have no idea about. Again, I have no idea about Google. I didn't check it, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of things built with Angular, and the list is growing all the time.
What I heard about Angular is kind of lengthy, right? Well, it seems like a company that writes a framework.
Okay, so let me.
Sorry?
Gmail.
No. I think YouTube was it.
Yes.
YouTube on PlayStation uses Angular.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, sometimes use this framework today, and tomorrow use something different. And I know the change is hard to make, but the frameworks are just flowing. As in my previous slide, you can see it's just too much, right? Whatever JS is there, right? Now Facebook is coming with React, another framework. Will be good or no? We don't know. So okay, so before I summarize, I have one request to you. If you could go to jj09.net/vote and tell me if you liked my session or was bad. I really appreciate your feedback. And if you have something specific, you can send me email. Mm-hmm.
So what would the performance impact in terms of conversion? Either way, very in a new way and then defining, or it's basically a translation, right?
From TypeScript to JavaScript?
Yeah.
So
how does the performance is?
Mm-hmm. So TypeScript compiler is optimizing for performance. So for example, when in TypeScript you have private fields, and you can do actually the same with JavaScript, TypeScript is compiling everything as public because it's just more efficient. And it doesn't really matter that in JavaScript you will have everything public, right? Because people use TypeScript code when they develop. So TypeScript is optimizing for performance. And who knows? I believe that people working in a TypeScript compiler knows more about JavaScript for performance than me, developer. So this is the same with when you compile C# to assembly code, right? You can see, I'll write assembly to make it faster, right? But then compiler is doing all these optimizations that can make it better than you.
Are there any benchmark tests created?
I mean, but what would you like to test? Because TypeScript is compiling just to JavaScript, right?
No, but the thing is, as far as I understand, type annotations is the way to boost performance. If the compiler knows that this will always be int, then it will be produce much more efficient code.
Oh, but we are talking about two different things, I think, because you're talking about the compiler performance, and I believe you're asking about JavaScript performance, the JavaScript generated by TypeScript performance, right? All right. Yeah. Okay, but so yeah, sure. TypeScript compiler like version 1.0, compiling one simple file was like 4 seconds. Now they went down to 1, so it's getting better. And again, with performance, as I said, I trust Anders Halesberg that he knows better how to write JavaScript than myself. And I believe that, again, writing with TypeScript is a better way, especially that when we will have ECMAScript 6, and TypeScript is almost ECMAScript 6 with types, so the compilation will be very straightforward. So, and if you really want to, write JavaScript, you can still write JavaScript in TypeScript because every JavaScript code is TypeScript code. Yes?
So what about property support? Property support, like that sort of thing?
Yes, they are supported, but they are not very efficient. And actually, recently somebody from our team mentioned that we better don't use properties for now because first, they're not efficient. Second, it's better to just use methods.
Like get something, set something?
Yeah, yeah, let me
And then the other question I had is, do you guys use C# like code style? Presumably in a big team, you have code style enforcement. So do you use C# type naming or is it more JavaScript?
What do you mean C#?
Like capital letters, like camel casing versus pastel casing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but this is actually in ECMAScript 6. That would be the recommended.
So you use like uppercase class names?
Yes, uppercase class names, interface names. I'm not 100% sure that we check with TS-lint for that because TS-lint can actually check it. So this is like an example. I can create a class with lowercase p, and TS-lint can tell me, hey, you should use uppercase. So you can check out the TS-lint, what are the recommendations. I think this code is pretty much how we write the code. And to show you this, so here I have get full name. I believe it was like that. Get full name. I think like that, and here you can return full name, right? And this is property, and then you can call it, for example, from here, this full name, like that, without a function.
So the comment was that inefficient? Performance that you take for doing that?
Yeah, it's like somebody recently sent an email to don't use getters and setters because there are some issue with compilation to JavaScript. In the book, JavaScript Good Parts, you can see some comments that JavaScript is saying about these properties. I don't remember the details about that, but in general, rather use simple methods. Yes?
Is there a namespace mechanism?
Yes, I didn't have enough time to sort of show this, but you can declare module, say dev, and this is sort of my namespace. And I can create in different file. I can also create this module so it works in a similar way like using in C#.
We also have a new version of the namespace. It's like a proper namespace. I thought that I was listening to Angular's interview. He said something now the two keywords, modules or ECMAScript 6 stuff, but the namespace is for TypeScript specific stuff.
Namespace?
Namespace, yeah.
Okay, so maybe that will be next version.
I think that's what he was talking about. It's coming out.
I saw that in an interview as well at Build.
Yeah.
He gave an interview and he said that they were going to have a namespace keyword.
So you can distinguish between what's TypeScript and what's ECMAScript, because ECMAScript uses the module.
Yeah. So they want to break sort of compatibility.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Do you use anything for combining all the JavaScript into one single file and merging and unifying it?
Yes, actually, you can also do it with gulp. You can bundle and minify it. We use our custom stuff. We can buy. Actually, I'm not sure who, but somebody from our team wrote all this pipeline to bundle everything and minify it.
Do you do it in Gulp, not like C#?
Sorry?
You guys do it in Gulp, not C# for project?
Actually, we use MS Build mainly. We don't really use gulp. We were using gulp for a while because back in the days we had like sort of two repos, and then in one repo it doesn't make sense to use gulp because we could sort of compile in place. But later on we switch, and now we can save to the same directory. And if you can save in the same directory the JavaScript file, You can use Web Essentials, the Visual Studio plugin, which on Control S is doing compilation and can also do linting. So then there's not really point to use gulp. But this is another way. You can use MS Build to use gulp. We started with
I
MS
decided not to use, well, we use Web Essentials for development, but because it doesn't have a command line, basically, none of the features that it does, they're all UV only. All our builds.
Okay, so what are you using now?
So we're using, actually worked on it last week, MS Build, calling gulp.
Oh, I
And
see.
then we had to do things where like the TS lint output has a certain format, so you have to have regex to turn those into warnings. And your TypeScript output, you have to use another regex to turn those into errors. It was kind of a pain, but it actually, you just do an MS build, it calls out and build a couple of places.
Yeah, and I guess the reason for that is similar like in our case, because our project started, I don't know, 2 years ago. And at that time, I don't know if gulp was already there, wasn't there, right? So it was MS Build. If we are starting project today, probably would use gulp. All right. Yeah, so please, for feedback, if you have some specific stuff, just send me an email. And if you want to start with JavaScript, you didn't do it yet, I really recommend you to go to javascript.crockford.com. There's a series of, I believe, 6 videos by Douglas Crockford, and he's talking not only about JavaScript history, but also about programming languages history, like how we get to the place where we are now. And this is very, very interesting. I really recommend you. And also check JavaScript Good Parts book or Effective JavaScript, which is even better book, in my opinion. I read both. And if you want to start with TypeScript, TypeScriptlang.org, the official TypeScript website, is the first point to start. And you can also check on Pluralsight. Actually, here we have some Pluralsight subscriptions to give away. Okay.
Ask a question and then whoever gets it.
Okay, what the question I can ask? Okay, so I have 2 Pluralsight subscriptions. So first question would be, can you compile to ECMAScript 6 with TypeScript?
Yes.
Okay, another question. Something harder. How many years TypeScript project is going?
10 years.
No?
2,
4, 5.
10.
Who said 3?
I said 3 first.
I believe that's the more accurate
I already
answer.
have to do this.
I already have this, I think.
Oh. Who said 3? Who doesn't have? Nobody. Okay. Sorry.
Just give it away to anybody.
Who doesn't have Pluralsight then?
So this is a 1-month subscription. So 30
Okay.
days free.
I'll do one here. One over there.
I think he had some good comments. What's your name, sir?
Mike.
Mike. Okay. So I'll get you one. Just tweet on that EA. Okay.
No worries.
You get a bunch of those. Not here though.
You can also have a free trial for 30 days, I believe. But you have, yes, it's limited to 2 hours, yeah. But yeah, Pluralsight is great. When I always want to learn some new technology, I'm starting from Pluralsight. Okay, so thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Well, we have a bunch of other stuff to give away. So if you want to stick around for a couple more minutes, we're going to wrap up.